Alright, we'll take a look at creating our first multi-view or orthographic drawing. We're going to use the bracket to create this, and since we have now created a template for the title block, we can load the template directly from the part or from our design file. So if we're going to make a drawing from the design, and we are going to select our template. We want to use what's known as the parent view. And we want to start with the front view as being the parent view. Parent view then controls the projection for the top, the right side, and even, well, we could do the top, back, bottom, left, right, but also the isometric view. And in this one, we're just going to get it laid out, and then we're going to change the scale, because that's how it comes in generically. And we'll look at changing the display style as well. So I'm just going to hit OK. So I have this view showing up on screen with hidden lines turned on, and right now the scale is 1 to 2. Well, let's project some views off of this. If I reference this view and I drag straight up, I get the top, and I can check that off. And if I drag to the right, I'll get the right side view, and if I drag up at an angle, I'll get the isometric. So I've placed the views, but my top, front, and right side view are fairly small. We can change the scale. You can change the scale by just changing the parent view. So if I right click and edit view, I can change the scale, and initially you won't find a 2 to 3 scale. I've already done this, so I have a 2 to 3 scale available. You can manually type this in, and 2 to 3 is one that we actually use quite often. So I have now changed the scale, and all the views have changed based off of this parent view. And I do want to use a 2 to 3 because going to 1 to 1 is just too big. I'm not going to have room for dimensions. So I'm going to stay with a 2 to 3 scale. For us, the thing that we don't want is the fact that the isometric view changed. This one we have to change independently. We're going to separate it from its parent view and go down a scale size. And if you prefer to have it be a solid shaded shape or part, I would actually recommend or show it that way. From here, we can change the spacing between our views, and we do want to create equal spacing. They will stay aligned, which happens from using that projection. And now I'm ready to start dimensioning. Well, in this case, I want to put some hidden lines and some center lines on. We will have a center line between these two, and we will create a center mark for the arc. And there we have it. This one does have a radius. Being that it is an arc and not a complete circle, we are going to dimension the radius. The rest of our dimensions are linear. Overall length, width, and height will be good starting points. An overall length of 3, an overall height of 2 3/4, and an overall width. From here it is all the features that we created in this part. A distance up from the bottom. Your right side would probably be the better option. This would make an extremely long extension line. A substitute dimension here of 1. Knowing that our overall length is 3, this length has to be 2. Height here. Oh, what other height do we have? The distance from here to here being 1.5. And the width across the top. Keeping in mind our dimensioning rules. Oh, what else do I have? You cannot assume that the feature is centered. To the center mark from this edge allows us to know that this is centered, and we need its horizontal placement as well. That has been completed. 1/2 inch thick, 2 inches wide, 3 inches. That should pretty much wrap up our dimensioning. As I have dimensioned, if I have not made a mistake, in terms of placement, I can come back and make adjustments on the placement of a given dimension. If I want to get this one to be a little bit closer, I can move it closer. If I selected the wrong vertice, like here I have, or now I've created an extension line without a gap from the object line, I can drag that node for the extension line so I am forming the gap. This is one that happens quite often, but it is something that I am alert to. Decimals look good. Showing you 2 decimal places for this one, and that can be done under document settings. Well, if you pick any of these, you can get them. Text type, number of decimal places. Linear decimals, we would only need 2 decimal places for this one. I'm going to hit OK. Need to add the title block. Right click, edit title block. This one is the bracket in all capital letters. ANSI, since we constructed it in inches, we used a scale of 2 to 3. For the views, your paper size, when we made the template for you, was already A, your name, and a date change. And we're going to set that. I'm done editing the title block. My views will reappear. Save it, and we'll print this off when we're in class.